So hello, welcome to Access Paranormal. I'm Jamie Williams. Joining me at Mill Street Barracks, we've got Craig and Gemma from the Ghost Haunted Museum. Am I right?
Yeah, we go Ghost Hunters of Stoke-on-Trent for our paranormal team, and ours is the Haunted Museum and Spirit Shop in Stoke.
That's right. You confused me, Craig. Last time you were here,
yes,
you were just about starting this.
We were
this
indeed,
museum.
yeah. We were just launching it. We were just in the process. We just got the keys for the building and just starting to put lacquer paint on the walls and things like that.
We got an exclusive that night, didn't we?
You did indeed, yes.
And if anybody wants to listen back on that, it's actually on YouTube.
It is, yeah.
So if anybody wants to listen to that, go to Access Paranormal podcast on YouTube and you can listen to it.
Yeah.
Don't ask me what number show it was. I could have told you that, but I'm getting old now. So you're back here. You're back at Mill Street Barracks for the first time in, is it 18 months?
18 months, since we've opened the museum. And like I say, we came here just as we were just starting to open up. So but yeah, we're back, as always.
And you've got your partner?
Yes, Gemma,
Just in case I get it wrong. And Gemma, you've never been here before,
No,
have you?
I haven't. So I couldn't come last time.
Yeah.
So excited to be here and get going. Yeah.
It's a great location.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if the listeners could see her face, she's got a big smile on her face, hasn't she?
Yeah, she's heard all my stories from here before, and this is just one of those locations for me. I will always come back to without a shadow of a doubt. You know, we travel out, we do a lot of locations over the UK and further afield, but you have certain ones where you get attached to, you know, and I've had some of my most memorable moments here in 23 years of investigating. So for me, Mill Street Barracks is quite close to us. So.
I'll pay you later.
Yes.
Now, we're going to talk about your museum first, because I think it's fantastic. I mean, like we said before, we were there at the beginning.
Yes.
I mean, we didn't have you painted or anything like that, but we were there from, you know, when you came here, you were just, like you said, you were getting the keys to it. You were just starting to paint it and everything else, and we nabbed you because you come here.
Yeah, that's right.
And, it was a great scoop, really, because we
it
got that
was.
story.
You got the exclusive, really. It's just insane how much we've grown, and obviously you guys have followed us and supported us and watched how much we have grown in just a short space of time to where we are today with the museum. It's just been outstanding.
And it's great because we watch your lives, or sometimes we won't, you know, we won't say nothing. We'll just sit and watch it because you do your ghost hunts on
That's
there.
it, yeah, we do.
You have a chat on there, and you're keeping people up to date all the time.
Always, yeah.
And it's great for us because we, you know, instead of having to give you a quick message, how are you doing, Craig, and all this, we're watching you.
That's it.
And we do say every now and then, hi, Craig.
Yeah, that's right, yeah, you do, yeah.
Although it comes up Access Paranormal, we try and put a dash Jamie or a dash.
That's it, so we know it's comments, yeah.
And to see the progress from where it was, because you nearly had the break in, if you remember.
We did at the very beginning, we had
an
an issue with that,
And that was a shame, that, because, I mean, all you were trying to do was get a little bit of a thing off the ground.
Yeah, basically,
it
was a bit disheartening at the beginning when that incident happened, because it's like you say, you know, obviously we're trying to make an impact for the city of Stoke-on-Trent, where we come from as well. So. And it's made a massive impact, you know, and obviously you're always going to get wrong one in life, unfortunately, but, you know, that's, touch wood, that's the only instance we've had there, you know, and it's just great, isn't it? People love it. You know, people are coming from all over the world to visit us, paranormal teams from all over the world, and you know, we've been featured on 3 TV shows now as well. So
I've seen one of them.
We've been on.
I know him.
We were on the ITVs this morning with Phil and
right.
Holly. We've been featured on Unexplained, Caught on Camera Series 3, and in a couple of months we were on Paranormal Caught on Camera. So we're in talks with a couple of other TV shows as well for later in the year.
I'm on myself. I don't know where it is now. They're coming over to film me on Unexplained. So.
Cool. There's a lot of teams local as well. There's a team lads, Haunted Scouts. They were featured on the same series as well.
Chris and Adam.
They came down to the museum the other week and investigated down there. Lovely guys. They give us a lot of support now as well, and
they're really nice lads.
They really are good fellas. It's we had a great chat with them, didn't we? And we're going along to one of their nights as well to support them as well.
They're really good if you go with them. I mean, we get on really well. I haven't had a chance to speak to Chris and Adam for a while now, but they're coming here soon. So So we can have a good catch up with them as well.
Busy guys, they're doing really well for themselves, and it's nice to see as well, you know.
Yeah, they've got a really good sense of humour.
Oh yes, indeed. Yeah, they are.
Adam has to, because he's an Evertonian. In case you're listening to this, Adam, you know. Let's start with, because how did you start the museum? I'll come to you in a minute, Jen.
No,
Sorry,
it's
I'm not
fine.
going to ignore it.
No.
How did the museum start off? Because we know that you've got the museum, but I'm thinking, did I ask you last time how it came about?
Yeah,
it doesn't just appear.
I've been an investigator for 23 years this year, so, and then about 16 years ago, I just started to, you know, along my travels, pick up little bits and pieces, and I dealt with collectors who've got haunted artefacts, or worked with, because I've worked on case files all over the UK for years, helping families with paranormal circumstances or things that they believe are paranormal circumstances, and obviously artefacts that they believe had attachments and things like that. So I started to build a collection up. Just for myself more than anything. And then about a year later after that, about 15 years ago, it just was a dream more than nothing. That it was like, well, what do we do with these items in the long run? What am I going to do with them? And it's like, it would be amazing to have a venue where we could show and let people come and have a look around, work around the items and the artefacts. And and then obviously we come out of lockdown, change your career plan, thinking what do we do from this point now? What we're going to do. But during lockdown, I'd been doing live feeds with the artefacts on social media. So everybody was tuning in and watching us, you know, people who were into the paranormal. And obviously, we on there, like, you know, you've seen on the live, sometimes we have a chat with people and, you know, we get to know each other. And we built up a great little community online for people and supporting each other through lockdown, which was nice. And I was telling about the artefacts and the history, where they come from and all that. And, you know, I had this dream many years ago about, you know, opening a museum or a building as such, you know, to display them and let people come and have a look and see what they can get from these artefacts. And it just went from that level to everybody saying, do it, you know, now's your time, this is your chance. And, you know, I had some great support, some great people behind me, and, you know, I took the plunge. And as you know, I had a look for buildings and, you know, different places, and and the first building that I looked at, where is the museum now, was the one. It's over 3 buildings now because we've extended. So I looked at one building and I was like, okay, this kind of works. But then I went in to look to the building next door too, and then when I saw that, I was like, okay, now I need 2 buildings because one isn't possibly going to be enough for me, and the size of it. It's like it just worked, and I just had this vision in my mind of I could do this here, this is going to go there, and, you know, along the way, and it just escalated and went bang, and before we knew it, we had a museum.
No, I mean, like I said before, we've followed you on the Facebook page. We've seen it from the start to where it is now. It's absolutely phenomenal. I mean, I've seen the photos. We can't wait to come and see it. Yeah. It's phenomenal.
It was just a shell when we went in. There was nothing in there. Really old buildings, date back to just over 200 years. You know, they'd been houses originally, then turned into shops, and there was just nothing in there. It was just derelict. It was an empty build. So a lot of work went into, a lot of thought process went into what we do there, and how we could possibly make it work to make it fully interactive for people to come and visit us and display the artefacts. And and it just went brilliant, didn't it? From the day, you know, from the minute we said we've got keys, everybody, the online support from people who follow us was incredible, and those followers are still with us now. You know, we have people who visit regular to the museum as well, for do circles and ghost hunts and all the bits and pieces of courses, and just, you know, I can't thank everybody enough for the support that we've had, and they still continue to support us, and like yourself, watch us grow. We know you're in the background, you know, and it's nice to know that there are people in the community, you know, the paranormal field, who do support us. The teams that come to us as well from all over the world. It's just been amazing. There's no real words I can say other than that, you know.
It's gone from nothing to an absolute success, technically overnight, really.
Pretty much for the amount of time we've been open, it's escalated.
But I think it's what's been needed. I know there's been museums around before.
Of course, definitely.
I think, looking at yours, I think it's the country's best one of the lot.
A lot of people give us great feedback. Obviously, we also get followed by Higgy Pop Paranormal.
Right,
And in August last year, he ranked us as the 6th most haunted location in the UK in our first year of opening. So that was an amazing achievement. never even thought that we would get listed. You know, I followed Steve with his site as well. He came and visited. I invited him down before we, you know, just after we opened, and he come around and I gave him a tour, and you know, he loved it as well. So and the feedback has been incredible. The reviews all 5-star ratings, you know, and paranormal teams come in because it is what it is. You know, you either get the activity or you don't like any location.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, the beauty of our location is the artifacts that we have documentation from genuine case files from around the world, some that we've worked on personally as well. And it's just incredible, and people like that they have the history, the documentation with them. And we have some amazing things happen at the museum, you know. We have some incredible times, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
We do.
Now I'll sneak over to Gemma.
Okay, yeah, of course.
Yeah. And Gemma, when did you start with Stoke-on-Trent? Don't look us.
Before the museum opened, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah, during the team run, yeah.
So you started before the museum opened?
Yeah, I started on the team before that because obviously I've been supporting that and watching all the lives and getting involved. And
So what's it been like for you seeing the museum building up and building up? I know Craig's done tons and tons of work on it, and obviously you've had people who've been helping as well.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
You know,
including me.
She has indeed, yeah. She's been a godsend, yeah.
It's been hard work, hasn't it? It's been hard work, but it's worth it because it speaks for itself. It's an amazing venue.
You're benefiting from it now. Because people, it's like a magnet now for people, isn't it?
It is.
The venue speaks for itself.
Exactly.
You know, teams are coming in and they are getting the evidence, they're getting the stuff themselves. It's not what we are getting. Other people are coming in and they're getting it themselves.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's why people love it, because they come in and if they do it right, then, you know, they get the results that they want. So it's great.
You know, when you're doing all this stuff, and you sorry, I'm going to ask you, the building itself, are they historical, the buildings? Have they got history to them?
There is history to them. They're not historical buildings, but like I say, they date back to the very early 1800s, so there is documentation to the building with 2 deaths that happened at the building. We've had the land dated back to as far back as 536, where it was the Battle of Featherland was actually held on the grounds there of Fenton, where the museum's built, you know, against the Saxons and the Britons. We didn't know this when we went in, did we?
No.
You know, one of the first live feeds from inside the museum was empty, the building.
Yeah.
And somebody asked that question, is the building haunted? And I will always say to this day, my answer was no, because we went in because the building was the right layout, we had a great feeling for it. And the documentation come later on from historians who come to visitors from to the museum as well, which was amazing. We'd done a little bit of digging and found small bits and pieces, you know, but these guys have obviously got access to, you know, what they need to get. And it was a couple of guys from Liverpool who come and want it.
Yeah, it was,
and they give us a great amount of documentation for the area, the building, the land, things that had happened very close proximity to there as well. And it was amazing. It blew us away, didn't it? You know,
definitely.
And, you know, we didn't even know that they were coming. They just turned up with another team to see the museum, like, and they said, "Oh, we've got this paperwork for you guys." And
it's
so that was really nice.
To be able to date it back that far. You know.
So there's bits there, and there's history there, and you know, 200 years isn't to be sniffed at, I don't think, for the age of the building.
And more's going to come along as well. You're going to find more history because people are going
to come to,
I remember this when.
Because a lot of people locally in the area come to us as well, you know, and a lot of the old ones as well in the area, they come and obviously they've known people from generations down. They've gone, oh, we can tell you about this and we can tell you about that, and this family lived here and that family lived here and this happened there. And so that's nice as well, you know, that marries up with what we've got as well. So it's great, isn't it? But
yeah, it is.
And then obviously the extension next door was the family business that's associated to the houses as well at one point. So that's why we extended into that building too.
Because it's all connected.
It's all connected, all the way through.
So
we've turned that into a bit of an experimental area, haven't we, in there? So
in what way experimental?
So do you want to go with that?
Yeah, we've got loads of different areas on there. So we've got scrying stations, pendulum stations, automatic variety, we've got a psycho-menteum chamber, we've got a Tesla coil room, we've got a serial killer murder room in there.
Yeah.
So there's a different kind of scope on what we do.
Yeah.
We've got a meditation room in there as well.
Yeah, with copper pyramids.
Yeah.
So we can offer
loads of different experiments and stuff.
The aim is to give people the ultimate experience of the paranormal on both sides of the ghost hunting and then the more scientific and spiritual side of things too.
Different ways of experimenting.
Yeah, because with the serial killer thing, we've been collecting artefacts from serial killers and areas where murders have taken place and things like that over the years too.
How do you get these artefacts? Sorry for cutting
no,
you up there.
It's fine.
When you say you get artefacts from these serial killers, I mean, how do you get about it?
It's
Does
collectors.
people contact you?
Yeah, we do have some people who contact us directly, don't we? We've got a great contact over in the States now, working very closely with us. And it's just collectors over the years that I've known who have dealt with genuine artefacts. When you know where they're coming from, they can provide the documentation that we want with it. And then when we opened it, a friend of ours, Sean, he gave me a file full of some of these serial killer bits and pieces as a donation to the museum, which was incredible. And over time, it's like, how do we possibly fit them into the museum side? And we couldn't really place them. So when we built the extension, we had one room left. And it's like, okay, we sat down together, we came up with this brainstorm of let's utilise these and let's collect more items. And we've turned this room into a very retro police crime scene investigation office. So you go in, it's like going into the 80s, sort of a crime scene police room, and same as doing like the Estes method. So we do that as Estes interrogation, working with the case file and an artefact from a serial killer or from that case. And we've had some outstanding results by doing that as well.
Is that where you can hold the thing and say this is from? So there's no information of who the serial killer is?
Yeah, nothing at all whatsoever. So they would
we also do where we blindfold the person, don't we?
Yeah,
so that they don't know what case file we've got out. So they have no idea. So they're basically just giving us what.
Sorry about that, my phone switched on. So yeah, just carry on a moment.
So they basically literally going in blind on.
Yeah, that's it.
And then, obviously,
so
as
they
you
have no
normally
idea.
do, Estes method.
Yeah.
And it's great, you get great results, because obviously, again, they've got no idea who we're trying to work with and whose information we're trying to get. And the results we're getting are amazing, to be fair.
Yeah, and we've sort of incorporated some new experiments that have never been done or seen before in the paranormal field to incorporate working with these case files and these artefacts. We don't disclose too much online because people come to us for that. And then when they do these experiments, they're blown away because I've never seen anything like this before. And it works very well. And again, it's been a new launch, and it blends in with everything that we do.
It's
so
just something different. Obviously, you're taking like the paranormal side of it, but actually putting it to something else. So it's quite interesting for us as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
to do that.
It's a very unique way of how we've blended it together to work together.
There's a lot of interest around, serial killers and things like that.
Yeah.
And the meditation room's amazing. It's very tranquil in there, and another side of things that we can do with the spiritual work. And we've got copper pyramids you can meditate underneath in there. We do the Gansfeld experiment in there too. And
so you sit under these copper.
Yeah, full copper pyramid. Yeah, and
I've never done that.
Yeah, it's incredible. The energy that it produces is.
Can you feel the energy?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. So yeah, we
want for you to try when you come down, won't we?
Yeah.
You don't know me, I'm accident prone. I'll probably get up and crack my head on it. All that medication's gone.
Yeah.
It's all right, we'll send you the bill.
Yeah. So we've tried to incorporate a bit of everything of what we do. It's got an amazing base camp room in there where, if your team comes in, we offer all facilities free on the night as well. So all your brews are included with that. The urn's always on in it, and teas and coffees are provided and things like that. So if you're a paranormal team, obviously everything's provided for you on the evening as well. And they love it, don't they, when they come in? The feedback we've had's been absolutely amazing from it, for the teams that have been in so far. Because we've only very recently opened it up fully, haven't we? So, it's all accessible now all the way through.
Wow. Yeah. So how big... I've got my partner contacting me, who actually does the show with me, Marie, and Jonathan, who was on the phone to you before. I'm here on my own, and now they're messaging me and ringing me right in the middle of the show. We never cut anything out. We always say,
of course, definitely.
So Marie will be down in a little bit anyway. She's going to come down, but we're going to carry on with the show. So,
okay.
Now, how big? I mean, your museum. You were just saying then you've extended and everything else.
Yeah.
How big is it? I mean, compared to Mill, there we go again.
Yeah.
Compared to Mill Street. I'm just looking for my size. There's no use saying it's 100 foot.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're looking at lengthwise with the building, you're probably looking at about 3/4 of the length of Mill Street. So it's a
big
good,
then.
Yeah, it's a good size. Yeah. We were over 2 floors, 15 active rooms. We've done featured area rooms as well, incorporated some of the artifacts to work with those rooms. We've got a Victorian seance room, we've got a mirror room, we've got the trigger room, which is split into the nursery and the sitting room. We've got the main artifacts room. We've got a morgue with a used morgue tray in there as well.
An actual morgue tray?
Yes, we have. Yeah. We've got the chapel
and the asylum.
So and the chapel is a registered chapel.
I'll fit in well in the asylum.
So I'm an ordained minister too as well, and we had a wedding at the chapel last year as well in August.
You're actually an ordained minister?
I am indeed.
Yeah.
Yes, I've been ordained since about 2011, I think.
Wow.
So and we had a wedding there. We married somebody there as well.
At the museum?
Yeah, we candlelit it all the way through.
It was amazing.
The building looked incredible. It was another paranormal team who we know very well as well, which was nice friends of ours once. Yeah. So but we've got church pews in the chapel. We've got confessions booths. We've got coffins. All trigger areas that you can get into and have a go in the asylum.
We've got a padded cell in the asylum.
We've got a padded cell in the asylum, and so we've gone to town with detail with everything. There isn't anything that we can't offer at the venue to give you that ultimate experience within what we do.
And when you get these artifacts, I mean you've got one. I mean I've seen the photographs the other week from you. You've got Ed and Lorraine Warren's.
Okay. Yes. So. Those they haven't arrived yet. Those will be at the museum from the 6th of May. So a very good friend of ours up in Scotland who's coming down again for another investigation. They belong to him. And his name's David Barrett. We'll give him a shout out. He's a lovely, lovely guy. And we managed to pick up some other items, didn't we, of hit that were from his collection that were being sold around different places, weren't they? And when I saw them, because this person was claiming that they were haunted items, so the first thing I wanted to do was, where have they come from, who they're from, and so I did all my research and checked back, and I found the person who sold them to him, then got in touch with her. She dated back to Dave, so I then contacted Dave, and he sent me a photograph saying, they were in my collection, they are the real deal, so that works for me. So we'll have those, and then...
Are yours permanently?
Yes, they are. And then I started to talk to him about, what else have you got in your collection? So the first thing he was on about, he's got a 17th century beheading execution sword that's coming to the museum as well. And we've got to fetch that from Scotland.
Have you got to go up there and get it?
Yeah. And then he mentioned about the Warrens items. So we are massive fans of the Warrens. It's a dream come true, the most renowned paranormal investigators in the world. And he sent me this photograph. So I didn't say anything to Gemma and I. And I was talking to Dave, and he went, listen, would you like them for the museum to come on display? I was like, really? And he went, yeah, Craig, not a problem at all. He said, they're out with my friend at the moment. I will get them back. She's coming to his night on May the 6th, and we'll bring the items to the museum, and you can have them on display at the museum. So we were absolutely blown away by this gesture. To have items of that to come to us was incredible on another level, wasn't it? And then yesterday we actually had Jewish Spear, it was Ed and Lorraine Warren's daughter, to comment on one of our Facebook posts, confirming that they are Ed and Lorraine Warren's glasses, neck scarf and brooch.
You
can't get anything. It's the cream of the crop, and it's just amazing. She gets upset every time because it's such a massive thing for us,
huge. Absolutely huge.
And people are approaching us from everywhere now, knowing that these artifacts are looked after, because we don't, although people investigate the museum and around the artifacts, we don't allow people to handle them because they're irreplaceable. Can't touch any of the artifacts in the museum. No.
Definitely not.
No. So it was nice speaking to you.
And it contains the energy with the items. There, we work around them. We will move our items to work with people as well. We're happy to get as close to and as involved as we can with them. But we can't replace these items. There's certain things like that people have been good enough to trust us to have them at the museum, to look after. you know, and it just blows, you know, every day I wake up and I just think, you know, it's just so lucky to the way it's gone. It's just, you know.
So do you both walk around the museum and go, wow.
All the
Even
time.
Though they're there all the time.
Yeah, all the time, every single day. You just go around and you're like, how did we manage to get this? People come to us that, you know, we've got a Devil's Toy Box.
Have you got a Dybbuk box?
It's not a Dybbuk box, no. We've got a dark box, which is similar to a Dybbuk box. And inside of there is 22 documented haunted artefacts. The Devil's Toy Box is a box, obviously made of mirror, used to, it's same as ways that a Dybbuk box used to encase or entrap a demonic or negative spirit. And that was donated to us by a company called The Other Dimension, Ben and Louisa Winfield, you know, again, a lovely couple. And they came and vetted us out at the museum without us knowing who they were. So they booked in for a tour to see if we were the real deal, to see if we got the experience, you know, and, you know, if we knew what we were talking about and are we able to handle, excuse me, some of these artefacts, such as the Devil's Toy Box. And then at the end of the tour, they introduced themselves of who they were, sorry. And I was blown away. I was like, okay, wow, what's going on here? And then they told us about this artifact and what, you know, the history of it and the documentation with it. And we were like, yeah, we would love to have it at the museum. You know, it's got amazing documentation with it. So things like that, you know,
we are extremely lucky. We feel very privileged to actually have something like that, because that is an incredible artifact. It really is.
Ben and Lou are an amazing couple. You know, he's a very knowledgeable man. You know, he's a demonologist himself. You know, he's you know, and Lou dabbles into. She's an occultologist, a specialist, and you know, so they know the stuff. And it's nice for people like that to vet us out and say, yeah, these guys are...
And to recognise us.
Yeah.
It's like a reference, isn't it?
Yeah, and they support the museum 110%, you know, which is lovely. We just couldn't ask for anything more, really, with how things are going. We've just been so lucky, haven't we? And it's took off. I never thought it would be this, especially in this short space of time.
There's nothing like it.
No,
there's nothing in the country.
We get the
like
feedback from the paranormal teams who come in, and obviously they do a lot of locations, and every one of them says there's not a location in the UK that's anything like the museum at all whatsoever. And it's nice to hear that. I mean, you know, there's some lovely and amazing locations across the way, and I'm not by far saying that we're the best or better than anybody else, because I'm not. I'm just thankful every single day for the way that our museum is, what we have in there. And we love it and we look after it, and it's precious to us.
It's respect.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, they are haunted.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's connected to something.
Yeah.
There's something connected to it. So you've got to respect that.
Yeah.
Whoever it is, you don't know who it is. You probably do, because you've got the documentation.
Of course, yeah.
But you know, you just got to respect them.
Yeah. And we don't just take anything from everybody. You know, we have a lot of people get in touch with us, don't we? But if it says got the right documentation, we don't touch anything unless it's an emergency case. You know, if they've got a young family and things like that, we shoot off at no cost. We don't charge for our services. Everything that comes into the museum stays in the museum. We haven't even took a wage home in the 80s. We've been open. Every penny goes back into the museum. It's just passion for us. We love to do it at the end of the day. You know, it's my life's work, now Gemma's life's work. And, you know, even when we go to a case, no matter where it is in the UK, we don't charge a penny for anything. We just go out to help families. And I've done that for many, many years now. And that is an important part of the work that I do with the paranormal field as well, you know.
It's nice to be able to help people.
Yeah, even if it just gives us peace of mind. Sometimes, you know, sometimes there's nothing untoward or unusual going on there, but giving them that peace of mind, making them feel more relaxed in their own home, it's an amazing thing to do at the end of the day.
And Gemma, you know, have you been around the museum on your own?
Yeah.
Are you brave enough to do that? Well, obviously, yeah.
Brave or stupid, one of them.
It's the same thing. I know how that feels. When you're going around there, do you ever feel... sometimes you probably go around, nothing happens.
Yeah.
Do you ever go past any kind of artefact and think, there's something not right about that today? And you dodge that, or...
Yeah, to be honest, because the energy can change in there, you know, and sometimes I'm in there and feel absolutely fine and I can walk through there in the dark and it not bother me, and then other times it's like,
You walk through in the dark?
Yeah.
Complete darkness?
Well, sometimes I need a little bit of light so I know where I'm going, but I can pretty much walk through there with no light, to be fair. I know where I'm going.
And again, you know what's in there, don't you?
But yeah, and sometimes it can be a bit unnerving, especially I've had quite a few bits recently, haven't I, where I've been on my own and I've had a nice loud growly breath down my ear.
And Craig was standing next to you.
He wasn't even there.
Wasn't even in the building.
To be honest with you, I wouldn't have been there neither.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can. It does change.
Yeah.
And sometimes I can be in there and be like, fine.
And
then other times you're like, I don't really want to be in here right now. And people do. It does amaze people. They're like, what, you were in here on your own? I'm like, well, yeah.
That was my reaction. Exactly thinking all these haunted artefacts, and you're on your own.
Yeah.
But we're there all the time, so they know us. I mean, that doesn't mean I'm never unnerved by things, because we do get unnerved, don't we, at times?
Well, it's a natural thing. If you're in a place, it's if you go somewhere on your own, you've never been there before, you know, it's your common sense, isn't it? To become.
Of course, yeah, definitely.
I'm aware of you, because we all got that sense.
Yeah.
Some of us don't know how to use it. But you get that sense of wariness.
It
no
is,
matter where you are.
and I think some of the investigators come in, some of the evidence that's captured by some teams, it blows them away, because they've been around the block and they think, and they come in, and even before they've got the, because obviously we have a lot of people come film and record, and even before they've got the cameras going, they've got stuff going on. We had a team in the other weekend, they've got a couple of them sitting in the seance room, a couple of them in the trigger room, the lights were on, and there was footsteps running across the floorboards upstairs, and they caught it on their camera, we got it on CCTV. The lights were flickering on and off, massive thud on the staircase. Great investigator, and he stood there and he was like, dead level headed. I wouldn't say skeptic, he believes, but obviously he wants to see it for himself. And he was just like, what the hell's that like? To see his response, still cool as a cucumber, like, great bloke. But again, he was like, wow, just unreal. And he's like, and I haven't even got a camera going, yeah? It's like, don't worry, mate, we've got CCTV, so we caught it all on camera.
Well, I can't wait to bring my son, because my son's the one who does the filming for us. And he is so level-headed. He doesn't, he thinks logically all the time. He's not a believer in the paranormal.
Right.
But one night we were here at Mill Street, and we were down in the cellar. Yeah. And we could hear a dog panting. You could literally hear it panting under the table. Wow. You could hear it over there. And then some fella, there was only, I think there was about 4 or 5 of us in. Yeah. And this fella jumped because he said he felt something brush against him. Wow. And even to this day he says, I still remember the panting. Yeah. But I'm still trying to think in my head logically. Yeah. So I can't wait for him to come up there. He'll probably go, Dad, it was alright. Yeah.
We do have a lot of skeptics come through, and a lot of skeptics do leave with a different opinion. Yeah. I would say 99% of them, to be honest with you. Yeah. If you come with the right attitude and with respect, and if you work at it, like any location, you'll get it. But like any location, we do have quiet times as well. Some of our live feeds when we've been on there, and some of our supporters, they're great, because those are the ones that do support you, do follow you, and they know you have quiet nights, and then you'll get a team in a night later or 2 nights later, and they'll get some incredible stuff going on. And I'm like, wow,
Well, you know that from here.
Of course, 100%.
Great nights. I don't know how they'll get on over there at the moment, but you can have great nights. And the next night, I was saying to your colleagues, we were here filming, we'd done a podcast last week. We'd done a podcast and nothing happened. Not one thing happened.
That's it. We've had nights like that, haven't we? We have.
I think with us, when we're in there as well, what we consider to be a quiet night and nothing, other people don't see it like that, but because we're in there all the time, all the little noises and bangs and taps, sometimes we don't really register them because we're so used to them, aren't we? You get used to it, don't you?
Because obviously we have cameras in every room, obviously, because it picks things up, even when the museum's close some of the movement we have, some of the noises that we have, and so it's great that everything's monitored. And obviously we have teams in, we watch them investigate and things like that, and because we always take clips of footage back from them as well. So we always say to them, make a note of your time, or if we see it, we'll take it off, we'll send it to you, and they add it to their channel then, whatever they do. So we like to work with teams like that, and it's always a concern. You always want to think, they're enjoying it, they're having some great activity and things like that. And then like Jem said, what we think's a quiet night, they come through and go, oh mate, we've had this, we've had that, we had the other, and that's great to hear, It's like EVPs in our place. I can't get one for love nor money, and I try all the time. Yeah, some of the guys that come in, some of the teams that come in, they've had some absolute outstanding EVPs in there, you know. And I try all the time. And every time we're doing our own work in there, because we actively investigate the museum itself as well. And I just can't get one at all for love nor money. But no matter where I am, what I'm doing, and I try, and no matter what I try or how I try, it doesn't happen for me.
It's probably like that.
Yeah.
And we know Craig, so there's no use going, there's some new people here.
Well, it's a proven fact. We've done this as an experiment with people who've come in. So obviously, you know, if we get a nice group come in, like, because we do members of the public nights and things like our own ghost hunts, and so we started this experiment of how does it affect the atmosphere or the energy with us in the room and when we're out of the room. So we started doing it, didn't we, with different groups, and when it was really quiet, we would say, right, okay, we're going to give you, you know, 10, 15, 20 minutes, half an hour on your own, carry on with the experiments, and let's see if it has that impact or if it changes the energy of, you know, the museum, the room that you're working in. And it does have an impact. It's so bizarre. So sometimes it's great for us to be there because some certain spirits will come forward, and then other times, once we're out of the way, it's like, oh, they're out of the way now, let's go play, let's, you know, torment people, whatever they choose to do.
It's crazy though, isn't it? It really is. Like, we can literally step out of the room and it'll start happening. You walk back in the room, but we get it loads where it's like, they'll know when we've come back in the room and it'll come out.
And then some groups are like, you can just leave us to it now, we're all right. You know, and it's nice. And we like doing that with a lot of people. You know, we have some great visitors to the museum. We have a lot of regular customers who come through now on a regular basis, week after week after week.
Really?
Because they can't get enough of it,
Members of the public? Or?
Yeah, members of the public, Wow.
They
do. We have certain circles on certain nights and certain groups who come in certain nights, and they actively investigate for their own sort of documentation research, which then helps us as well, because obviously what they get, if it marries up to what we get, is even better again. We do have a massive regular customer base. I mean, at the minute, March is sold out. We've sold out January, February, March is sold out, most of April sold out now.
Super.
We've got most weekends up until about July have all gone. You know, and we've sold up events up until the beginning of November.
Fantastic, isn't it?
it's just amazing. You know, there's no words at all. There isn't, you know, but people are coming and they are getting it for themselves. That was one of the main things which was important to us when we opened the museum. Is I want paranormal teams to come in. I want them to actively investigate this venue and see what they get, you know, to do with what we get, and even some of the history side of things that we don't publicly put online, that they've got and come up with to the documentation that we've had provided to us has been on another level of unbelievable, because they would never know this information, yet they are getting names, dates, circumstances, occurrences, things that have happened to the building as well as the artefacts. And that speaks volumes in itself, because they would not know this information.
How are they getting this information? Is it like mediumship or...?
Some use mediumship, obviously some are using equipment, some using spirit boxes, you know. Everybody works in different ways, no matter what devices they're using. I don't ever put anybody down for the equipment they're using or what they choose to use. As long as they're using it in an intelligent way and looking for intelligent responses, then I'm happy for them to come and walk with whatever equipment they use. Obviously, we keep up to date with our equipment, obviously as investigators as well, ourselves, you know, so we have everything from the very old traditional methods. You know, we've just had a spirit board made based on the old Hudson and Tuttle psychograph, where you don't touch the planchette, it's wrapped in copper, and then you have a circular planchette in the centre, and you touch and hold the copper plating, so it works with natural energy, so it helps the disc to spin.
How had to go all that?
Yeah, so things like that. So we go back with the old-fashioned traditional methods right up to the modern techniques, and they're going with a mixture of different things, and you know, and a lot of people in this industry are putting simple things down, you know, like apps on your phone, pads and things like that. Granted, I do agree with a lot of it myself, but then if you're getting, or asking a question, you're getting an exact intelligent response to the question you've asked, how could you possibly question it? You know, and so the swings and roundabouts with it, but these guys are getting it from themselves, and we don't publicly produce stuff online for the purposes, because a lot of people say, what's this, what's that, and will you do a guided tour online, let us look round, but then takes away the emphasis of people visiting the museum, because it isn't just a weird old looking place. We want you to come and experience this energy for yourselves. And when they've come once, we haven't had one person, I don't think so far yet, that hasn't been back.
And the good thing is, as well, as you were saying, you don't put it online.
Yeah.
So there's nothing for anyone to research, because you've got the documentation.
Correct.
Exactly.
So you've got it in writing.
Yeah.
And it's not online, so they don't. When they get there, they don't know what artifacts you've got, so they can't go on the search.
Exactly, that's right. Yeah.
There's nobody out there saying, "Oh, we've just sent this over to Stoke-on-Trent."
Yeah, that's it. And we don't do that, so nobody sees it. So we've got now over 400 documented artifacts at the museum as well.
400.
Yes, we have. Yeah.
Wow.
So, and it's just ongoing and collecting at the minute, and it's just insane. Every room has artifacts throughout the whole of the museum side. So yeah,
I can't wait to come and see it.
Yeah, it's immense, and it's just
It's just, I mean, like I said, we do follow you.
Yeah.
And we do watch you.
Yeah.
And sometimes we sit there watching you on your lives. We just sit back, and towards it's like a TV show. Sometimes we just sit there. And sometimes it's just Craig sitting there going, "So we got okay, we'll start now."
That's it. A lot of people ask us about doing a series on a YouTube channel and things like this, and we haven't really got the time, and we're just normal people at the end of the day. Yeah. Don't want to be a superstar. We are who we are. We do what we do. Yeah. I love it. It's my life's work. It's my passion. I wouldn't change it for anything. And it's just it is just a dream come true to have this museum and being able to do it all the time now. It's just blows me away. I wake up every morning thankful.
So you open every single day?
Every single day we're open, yeah.
Including Sunday?
Sundays, we do one Sunday a month, don't we? Because we obviously try and have a day off as well.
Need a day off, yeah.
Obviously there are days where we don't open to the public, where we do our weeks. We still work with all the artefacts on a rotational basis to make sure that there's
every artefact?
Every single one in a rotational basis, all the time, and with the team, so everything still gets documented on a constant basis. So we don't just bring them in and go, "Oh, that looks scary over there," and that's done. They get worked with. Even when we have documentation, we still do a thorough investigation over a 3-month period with every artefact before it goes into the museum. So, and then it's just grows on.
Before it goes into the museum? So you've got artefacts?
Yeah, we've got artefacts.
Nobody knows about until you do that, and then bang.
And then if we think that there is something unusual or something unique, or we believe there's an attachment, then they will go into the museum side. So so we have a collection that nobody's ever seen yet. So even the team, Ollie, myself and Gemma, see in that, and we work with them. And then the team obviously get minimal information, because obviously then the team work with these as well to see what they get with them as well at the same time. And then on a rotational basis, we work our way through the museum of each artefact. And so everything's thoroughly documented and worked with on a very extensive basis, isn't it?
And that's why Haunted Museum in Stoke is one of the best places, because you're doing everything by the book. You're not skipping and saying, I mean, how many people say, "I've got a haunted doll"?
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of work goes into it.
Yeah.
A lot of work.
It does, don't it? We don't have a day off, because our day off is us doing our work at the museum. So, and the museum needs to breathe. The energy in there, the artifacts, it needs to relax, bring it down. But then it's me and Gemma do our bits in there, so it's nice. It's not, we don't overflood it. We don't have big groups in there. I mean, when we first opened, we would just open it to public to walk in for tours. We can't possibly do that now. The guided tours in the days are now sold out till the end of April. So so everything is by an online booking process only.
Do you do the tours yourselves?
We do the tours ourselves. Our tours last around 2 hours, and we take you around. We give you all the history of the buildings, every single artefact that's in the museum. You get all the history of everything that's with it, behind everything all the way through the museum. And people, because we have a lot of people who come with the partners, maybe they aren't really interested in the paranormal, but they've been dragged along, husband, wife, or whatever, mother, nan. But by the end of it, they're booking in to come for a ghost hunt with us, or a paranormal investigation.
They love the history of it.
And they love the history of it. Yeah. And when they hear the stories of each one and the history of each item that's in there, they're like, we need to come and experience this. And some of the tours can be very active as well.
God, yeah.
Some of the tours can be active as we go around.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we've had people, it can be a very physical museum. We've had people where they've been touched, pulled, hair pulled, glasses taken off their faces, hats taken off heads, breaths, growls, not just picked up on camera, people physically hearing them, a lady's voice, laughs, whistling, just, you know.
So much.
It's just insane. We had one tour, a friend of Gemma's came in for a tour with another lady who'd been a few times, and we were upstairs in the artefact room. All of a sudden, all the fire alarms started going off for no apparent reason at all whatsoever. And then he heard this lady's voice. I heard it. The cameras picked it up.
It was a laugh, wasn't it?
It was a laugh.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I was blown away because it's like, I'm hearing this, like, here. So, you know, like, what on earth? And it just things like that. It's,
and to catch it on camera as well.
We get a loads caught on CCTV, and that's the beauty of it. But then it's good because obviously when we have investigators come, they recording as well, whether it's cameras, EVPs, and if we can marry up and capture the same thing at the same time scale as what they can on CCTV, that's what binds it together. You can't argue with facts. Yeah, of course, 100%.
Do you get a copy? Sorry, do you keep a record of everything what goes on haunted wise?
Yeah.
So you can go back and look at that video and back and look at
100%. Yeah, I keep everything, every bit of detail. Yeah.
So everything's documented.
Yeah, everything. Yeah, throughout the whole.
Perfect. So if you get a group coming in saying we've just got this in, say the serial killer's room.
Yeah.
You can go and look back at serial killers. We've had that before.
We keep everything. Absolutely everything. Yeah.
Never anyone to do that, you know.
It's a lot of work.
We don't do that. We just have people come in and enjoy themselves.
It's a lot of work, and I think sometimes people don't realise how much work goes on behind the scenes with ourselves. You know, the team are amazing. Don't get me wrong; they do a lot for us. But myself and Jen, like, I mean, she's a big driving force behind the museum. To be fair. You know, I need to kick up the backside occasionally too, because you know it's tiring, it's hard work, you know. And then you know Jem like picks my head up and says, you know,
look how far you've come.
Yeah, and we're just a great team together, aren't we? And it works very well. And you know, but she's an essential part of the museum as well. You know, people. Realise.
Well, you all are really,
of course.
Your team as well.
They are. The team are absolutely amazing.
Yeah, they are.
You know, I've worked with a lot of different team members over the years and things, and these guys they've got the passion that we've got. They've got the love for the museum that we've got, and you know, we can rely on these 110%, and there's nothing better than that at the end of the day. You know, of course,
trust in people as well.
Yes, you know, we can when we do have a night off, we can actually. The rare occasion with these guys, we know we can leave. You know, we haven't got to go on, check the cameras, see what everybody's doing. We can just, you know, enjoy, chill, and relax, and knowing that it's in safe hands. You know, at the end of the day, you know, we are really lucky to have them.
I've got to ask, how do you relax? I mean, you're in the haunted museum day in, day out, night in, night out. When you're away from that, how do you relax?
We pretty much don't, do we? Because well, you.
We don't know, do we? Because you know you've got to keep up the social media, and you know he's forever doing the posts and everything, and you're constantly working. It's very rare that we actually get any time where it is just chill, like nothing. Do you know what I mean?
We don't ever switch off, like Jem says, because I run social media pages all across every social media. You know, from the minute you know I'm awake till the minute to go sleep. But it works, and you know, obviously we run across all networks. And for us, you know, a night off probably sitting down watching something about paranormal.
To be fair,
well, it's funny because
or a horror, or something about a serial killer.
Have you ever done it though, where you're driving along and you go past and wouldn't mind investigating?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah,
all the time.
You've got the artifacts for the museum.
That's it. It's all we're researching into.
Oh, look at that church.
Graveyard. Like people who support, you know, like we mentioned earlier on. Haunted Scouts, Wednesday Paranormal, other guys, loads of other people who come and support the museum. We then try and catch up with what those guys have been doing, so we can watch their footage, listening back to your shows, and so we keep up to date on the bits that we can as well. So it's a kind of ongoing thing where we don't switch off. It's like our lives are now around everything that we do, but it's an industry that I've loved always, and
the paranormal's like that.
Yeah, it's but just draws you.
We do love it, and it is worth the hard work.
And then obviously we're looking at new equipment and who's bringing what out, how it works, can it be beneficial to the museum, you know, can we get interaction, how could we incorporate it to one of our experiments at the museum, and things like that. And
so have you ever thought of having a room for equipment used on paranormal investigations, and what has been used and what's being used now? Because there is a transformation. I don't know whether you've noticed it. There's a transformation from, we haven't got basics anymore.
Yeah, no.
The Ouija board, I've said this many times, the Ouija board has gone from day one and it's still being used today.
Correct, yeah.
Everything else has changed.
It has.
We're using cat balls.
Yeah.
And they're a fantastic piece of equipment.
Yeah.
But I suppose technology changes all the time. We're using our phones for picking up EVP. We're using our phones for the apps, as you were saying before. And we're experimenting with the apps as well, because it's something that makes a change.
Of course, yeah.
But I love the old kind of ways.
Same as me. I'm very much
who I am. I don't know. But
I think I'm the same.
Technology.
I mean, I love technology, and I love I've always took pride in, as always from an investigator. I mean, when I first started, the only thing I can remember go back to, it was called an ELF meter, which is an old white one with just three little red lights at the top. And that was it. There was no K2s, no fancy cameras. No. Your own tools were yourself, and that was it. And over the years, as these bits come out, I've always took great pride in having a real massive collection of equipment, to try and get the ultimate results, and I do, and I still do now. But I will always go back to basics with everything, where all the team can use every piece of equipment they want. I'm quite happy to sit in a room on my own, or like the psychograph board we had made. There's only 4 in the world of those in existence, and we own one of them because we had it specifically made. And it's a great tool. But I'm willing to sit there for hours to generate that energy to see if we can get movement on that board. But the old-fashioned stuff, the old-school stuff is for me all day long.
But there's nothing better than your own senses.
Yeah,
I was just going to say that. We always say the best equipment you've got is your own senses.
And the worst thing is when you're using your own senses and you do see something, it's so difficult to prove it to someone. Because I could say to you, Craig, did you just see that? And you could go, yes. But only you know, and only I know whether you've seen it. And that's the sad part, is that chick. That's the sad part, because that's the ultimate proof.
And it
is. Need all this equipment. It's like forensics, isn't it? They need the equipment to prove it. That's what we're looking at now.
I mean, it's great when you're just investigating. But when you're trying to do an episode, or you're doing a live feed and things like that, people want to see the flashy lights. They want to hear the noise. They want all that. Because us saying we can feel that, they can't get a visual on that. But for us, that's, well, I've just felt that, or my hairs have gone up. Do you know what I mean? And you felt that yourself. So that's better than but other people watching want the flashy lights.
It's great, because we I don't know whether you know, but we do paranormal investigations for the radio show, and we do it a lot because we think of people at home who can't go on the investigations, which is a shame. So we try and bring it to them through the radio. And it's funny, because you've got to try and describe it. I mean, I've done this many times. I've gone, the flashing wall's gone off just over there. For the radio, you've got to go, exactly. So these people at home are going, over where? You've got to go, the flashing ball's just gone off near the door, which is next to the cellar. So it's then you can picture it in the head.
In the mind, That's it. That's why we do live feeds for our supporters as much. It's time consuming for us, but we do put them on for them, because we could have a night off, we could investigate ourselves, but we choose to commit the time to the people who follow us and support us.
Give a little bit back.
And some of the equipment I don't like using, but they like to see that being used. So it's like, I will use it, I will get it out, because they want to see that, and these are the people who follow us and support us, and have helped to make this happen at the end of the day. So
it's like football without the fans.
Of course, 100%.
There wouldn't be a football.
Exactly.
So without the investigations, there wouldn't be yourselves.
Of course.
The likes of us as well. We wouldn't be doing this. You wouldn't be doing what you're doing.
Like we say, talking about the apps and things, I think it's the intelligence of the person who's using it at the end of the day, with a lot of it too. We know some are made for entertainment purposes. We know some of them with gimmicks. And it's trial and error with a lot of them, and people are using them, but used correctly, same as any device, any piece of equipment at the end of the day. Who's saying, we buy a meter, we buy a REM pod, we're only taking it for the word from the person who's made it that it's used a paranormal device. At the end of the day, it's as simple as that. All works the same way. It's all on the same basis. You're always going to get somebody who's going to argue that point of, this is fake, they shouldn't be doing this. I don't think you should discredit anybody's work, and a lot of paranormal investigators out there won't put their work on because there are people who are being disrespectful and putting their weight down, or they're putting down the equipment that they're using. Well, no matter how basic or advanced it is, people will always get different results from the different pieces of equipment that we're using. And there's so many investigators that are too frightened to put their work online because they will get jumped all over. You're ridiculed and put down for it, and it's wrong.
Well, you've done it, haven't you? You actually, I mean, I followed it straight away and thought, what a great idea it is. Stop bullying. Paranormal.
Yeah, I put a post on the other week because I've been seeing a lot of people who are friends of mine as well. They've been struggling. They've been having a lot of abuse, and people, again, putting the weight down, putting some of the equipment down that they're using, and just there's no need for it at all.
No.
So I'm very vocal. I will always stand up for myself, and I'll always stand up for people in the field who are friends of mine too. So I'm happy always to put a post on saying, stop the bullying in the paranormal field. We don't want it. There's no need for it at the end of the day. We're all looking for the same thing. People are always going to use their own tools. Every workman in every industry has a tool of their own choice. And it's the same. There's no experts in this field. None at all. A lot of us have got more experience than other people. But at the end of the day, every day is still a learning curve. And we're here to share knowledge with each other, share experiences and say, try this and see how it works for you. There should be more of people coming together in this industry rather than working against each other. It's not a competition, same as with our museum. It is an amazing place, it's a beautiful venue, and the feedback is outstanding from everyone who visits us. But at the end of the day, there's other locations that are just the same to other people when it's their location. And like us as investors, that's why we still go out and investigate. We're no better than anybody else. We're the same as everybody else, But we do things our way, and for us, our way works. But we're very committed, we're very passionate about the work, the museum, and everything that we do. And it does shine through.
And there's going to be the people who are jealous, and they shouldn't be jealous. I mean, I'm one of them people. There's so many locations. I know some of them are expensive, but there's so many locations out there. There's enough for everybody.
There is more than enough.
And share them. I mean, we've been doing this thing. We were talking to you about it off air. Was sharing locations. Let's share them. There's locations out there that nobody can afford. But if we work together. Okay, you can go one end of the building. We can go the other end of the building. We can work together.
Definitely.
And it becomes a community. There's no need, like you said, there's no need for the bullying or the attacking, the personal attacks and the attacks on groups themselves. Everyone's out there to enjoy themselves.
Of course.
I'm not out there to attack anybody else.
We all want the same thing.
You're right, Gemma.
I think a lot of people chasing the fame too much with the industry, unfortunately. There's not a lot of passion left in the industry for me. That's how I look at it now. I've seen a lot of teams come and go over the years. I've seen a lot of people still around. I've watched people grow and, grow from, being in it for the right reasons and to being in it for the wrong reasons. But unfortunately, that happens in everything that we do at the end of the day. But there is enough. People come to us the first time, especially if they're new people and they've never been ghost hunting before. So, great that you come to us first. But try here, go to there.
That's what I say.
Go and experience other locations. Can you recommend everywhere? Try this place, try that place. Have a look around, we'll always recommend seeing other teams, seeing other companies who support the museum, and we're happy to do so. We always get asked, where's your most scariest experience, where's your most haunted place you've been? And she will tell you that mine will always refer back to Mill Street Barracks. Without a question. And even on every live feed, every interview I've ever done, I always mention Mill Street Barracks. For me, I had a life-changing experience here to do with the paranormal field. And in 23 years...
I'm pleased about that. I've got to stop you there. Because we are coming towards the end of the show. And we could go on for another 2 hours. I've really enjoyed this. But before we do go, how can people get in touch with you to come to the Haunted Museum or on a paranormal investigation if you do public? Go for it, Gemma.
Facebook.
Is that it?
No, we're on Instagram as well, but all our booking is done through our Facebook page.
And
go on,
Facebook
I know you're dying to jump in. Go on.
So we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Snapchat. We've got all social media levels covered. But fans on Facebook, that's where you can book in. It says bookings only and over the age of 18s only.
And no alcohol.
Perfect, So I've got to say to Gemma and Craig from Haunted Museums in Stoke and Ghost Hunters
Of Stoke-on-Trent.
Of Stoke-on-Trent.
Yeah.
I'm just ready. Thank you so much for your time tonight. I really appreciate it. Taking away from your paranormal investigations, your favourite location.
Yes, indeed it is.
I'm going to leave you there anyway, but Craig and Gemma, thanks so much for coming in tonight.
A pleasure as always.
He
says, make sure you come down and see us at the museum soon.
I promise you we will.
Definitely.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.